Feels like the first time in a while I've been kind of excited about Ethereum. There's a lot going on. This Loom network finally got to looking into it. It looks pretty interesting. Um, they next generation blockchain application. It's a second layer solution. It's a network of delegated proof of stake side chains, allows for highly scalable games and user-facing dApps. This is one of Ethereum's answers to EOS. And something someone said when they first said it, I didn't understand. They said, well, EOS is great as a second layer solution. Um, and I didn't understand what that meant as much. And now I get it. And here is a second layer solution on Ethereum, sort of copying EOS's model. Not exactly, and those who get into the details will kill me for saying it's the same as EOS. It's not, but anyways, they are sort of marketing themselves EOS on Ethereum, scalable throughput, an alternative to EOS. And so we can see here they have a game that they're making, taking pre-orders on Kickstarter. This I looked up too. Delegate Call has already launched. This is where you can post a question and people get rewarded in tokens for answering the questions. And I am seeing it already coming up on Google searches, especially if you're searching for something about, about Loom or things. But I see the results coming up, and I logged in. It was easy to sign up, log in. I see activities. People are answering the questions. So, we're seeing things happening here. This coding tutorial. Now, this is the big question. If you were a developer, if I was a developer, where is it easier to make your game idea? Is it easier to build it on Loom or on EOS? That's the big question. I don't have the answer to that. I tried to look it up online. I'm not seeing anyone really talking about it. So, that's an important question. If if it's much easier to build games on EOS, well, then I wouldn't be as excited about Loom. But we'll get to EOS in a second here. But just to continue going through, I like the wife's website. Very cute and fun. Start building now. I read this article. I thought it was good. Everything you need to know about Loom, all in one article. China's biggest mobile platform plans to integrate. And, when Vitalik mentioned Loom recently, that got me to research it. I think he said, this is the first of this type to launch on Ethereum. So I think EOS is going to have many competitors as second layer solutions on Ethereum, which I feel like, we've already known is coming, but I'm happy to see there's actually something here. Now, speaking of EOS, there's a lot going on here. Things are launching. The platform itself only launched in June, and already, we see things happening. And this, I think I said this in my last video. I think we are about to enter a gambling pyramid, gaming period mania. These games where you have an opportunity to either win or, if you're good, make money. My analogy is, imagine Fortnite and you have a chance to make money. Like, people are going to go crazy. I think a lot of exciting things. It's exciting to me. I wouldn't waste my time with any of these games and gambling, right? But a lot of people do, and there's going to be a lot coming out now. So we're seeing a lot happening on EOS. Will we see this on Loom? And one thing I just want to mention, because I did marketing for 20 years, e-commerce. Look at this website. It's really, it's just very well done, very attractive compared to EOS. Don't judge a book by its cover. But I do like the Loom network cover. Now, regarding the Loom token, that I wasn't as excited about. I read they have an article here. I'll put all these links in under the video. So the Loom token, they're trying to create some sort of utility value for it. It's hard for me at this point to really sort of, like, I can read the article, but then to say, okay, so the token's going to do that. What is the value? And is there real value Is it long-term value? Like, I don't know. And if Loom is awesome, the token probably goes up in price. But to me, this just sort of was, okay, this is another proof of concept for Ethereum. This shows that there are answers here and more coming to EOS for Ethereum. So this makes me want to buy Ethereum more. And I'm not buying I wouldn't buy the Loom token, even if I learn more about Loom and love it. It just makes me want to, if anything, buy Ethereum. Which, speaking of that, the portfolio allocation that I have recommended. I'm not a financial analyst, but I love to give you my opinions. I have been saying for many, many months, 50% Bitcoin, 30% Stellar, 20% Ethereum. If you followed my advice, Bitcoin has held up better than anything. Stellar has held up better than the average, smaller coin. And Ethereum sort of taken it on the chin down. So, if I look at my portfolio now, Bitcoin's higher than 50%, Stellar's higher than 30%, and Ethereum's only at 50%. So if I want to put new money in, I would, unless I'm changing my portfolio view here, I'd want to be putting into Ethereum. And the price down today. So anyways, what was I getting at here? I don't know. Maybe I was going somewhere with that. Anyways, another thing about Ethereum that I think is kind of exciting, they have their next hard fork upgrade coming. So last year they did Byzantine upgrade, which I love seeing Ethereum. Here's the analogy, because the thing is, people say, well, Vitalik Buterin, he's a dictator, a benevolent dictator. He's not. Imagine in the United States, right, which is sort of a decentralized government, certainly not a dictatorship. Imagine if you had a president that everybody respected and was extremely smart. And I'm not trying to get into current politics and Trump, whether you like him or don't. I'm just saying, whether you love or hate Trump, 50% of the country hates him and 50% loves him. Imagine if like 80% of the country loved him and respected him. And so then when he came out with an idea, and Congress too, they debate everything, but they listen, and he has good ideas and he comes up with ideas, and then things go right through and are passed, right? That wouldn't make the president a dictator. It would just make them a loved, followed, respected leader. I think that's what we have with Vitalik Buterin. He is, him and some of the other people too on the team. Vlad Zamfir, is Joseph Poon on the team, but it's really, and they do these upgrades, and Vitalik Buterin is traveling around the world, talking to people, taking information. They're making changes, to making a plan, getting everybody on board, and they do these upgrades. I mean, it's sort of the opposite. And nothing, Bitcoin has been doing amazing with its upgrades and advances. I'm a big fan. But the Ethereum upgrades do go smoothly. So anyways, Constantinople, we're going to see, to make a long story short, proof of stake is coming. Okay. For those who are skeptical about proof of stake, I would just say it this way. Okay. In a sense, proof of stake and proof of work are almost the same thing. Because what proof of work is, it says, by doing work, you develop a stake in the system through your work, which gives you the incentive to not screw the system. With proof of stake, you don't have to do the work because you just stake your coins. And so theoretically, it should be able to work like proof of work, because it's all about having a stake in the system, which incentivizes you not to screw the system. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto didn't have this opportunity, because when Bitcoin was created, there were no tokens of value. You couldn't stake tokens of value because Bitcoin was the first token. So, if Satoshi Nakamoto, I just forgot his name. Said it 1,000 times now. I can't remember what it is. But anyways, Mr. Nakamoto, if he were with us today, I think he might think that proof of stake has a chance of working. Okay, Bitcoin maximalists are going to skin my head for that statement. But anyways, so this upgrade looks good. Anything else I want to say about it? Oh, and they also had a big, this move. So they also got everybody to agree the miners are going to start making only 2 ether per block instead of 3 as part of this transition to making money from staking instead of mining. And I think with the political skills of Vitalik and the Ethereum leadership, I think they're going to be able to make this transition with the miners, not be just a huge fight, but a transition over time that people accept and move forward with. So the coming upgrade looks good for Ethereum. What else do we want to talk about here? Now, speaking of the gaming mania, and I talked about too, one of the things to keep in mind in this gaming is, there's a difference between the EOS bet, which is very popular. It's like, hey, just place a bet and lose 1%. Click, 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 lose, lose, lose. Maybe you make a little money if you're lucky, but obviously over time you lose 1% of your bet every. Whatever. Fun. Nothing against it, but this is very different than something like a CryptoKitties, where you have a genetic code, which this genetic code, and you can breed and create new kitties, and then this is a base layer where they put games on top of that layer where you can use the genetic code to create new games. Long story, I've talked about that in another video. Is another type of game that looks great. And then someone said to me, oh, well, you got to look at Giftmon. It's the same thing, this Gifto. So I said, okay, fine, I'll look at it. So first of all, the link they gave me goes to this page where there's nothing, you can't click on anything, and there's this privacy policy, and that's it. So I said, okay, but what else do we have here? You've got they had a weekly update, which hasn't been updated since May, which coincides with the last, let's look at longer. The last weekly post was during their last pump, right? And then the roadmap. Look at this. What are they, in high school? And if they are, this is fabulous, right? If you're in high school. But this is not this Gifto. So I think what happens here, and the person who commented on the video saying, hey, check this out. If you just read a headline, ooh, this is a project just like CryptoKitties, well, maybe the idea, but you got to do your research and look at the execution. And listen, I don't know that much about this. It's a quick research, but to me, this looks very amateur. And maybe the headline is that it's just like CryptoKitties, but if you dig, I spent 10 minutes digging, and it looks pretty. It looks thin to me. Okay, so I'm not excited about it. All right, so that's I think that's all I have to say. I think that everybody's down on Ethereum right now. I'll do it. I think my next video we're going to talk about the multi-coiners versus the Bitcoin maximalists. I don't think Ethereum is going to zero. Everybody's down on it now. I for the first time I'm thinking it looks exciting. And let me know if you know anything about this Zoom or if you tried it out. All right. Thank you.